Hello and how are you doing? Welcome to Pepper Sycamore Youth Online. This is Youth Split, a show that tackles matters concerning the youth, be it spirituality, career, business, and life in general. And our hope is that you get inspired or educated by watching this content that we are putting out for you. Today, we are still on the topic youth and politics, and I have a guest with me. He's famously known as Major George. You're welcome. Uh, yes, and my name is Sharon Jogo. So let's start by tell us who Major George is.
Thank you very much, Shalme.
Yes.
I would like to start by correcting that Major is currently a bit outdated.
Yeah.
Currently, my rank is Lieutenant Colonel George Sananka Olekatumpe, and I'm proud really working for this nation in KDF. And this morning, I'm honored for being your guest in the show. Maybe if I start with a brief introduction of who I am, is that my career started about 18 years ago in the military as a cadet. Later, I graduated through the ranks to the current rank that I'm holding. And apart from that, I'm also, or my qualification in terms of education, I hold an MBA in finance. I hold another MBA in logistic chain supply management, and also another MSc in strategic management. And also I'm a certified associate in project management. I'm also a parent with 3 kids, and I think that's a brief introduction of who I am.
Okay, thank you so much for having us, for agreeing to be in our show. So let's just start with, we hear this famous phrase of youth are the leaders of tomorrow, and we wonder when will this tomorrow come. Just help us break down what the phrase youth are the leaders of tomorrow is.
The phrase youth are the leaders of tomorrow is a phrase that can be interpreted in different aspects, especially when it comes to confidence building and giving hope to the youths that tomorrow will be a better day than today. It depends all with the skills that the youths have been equipped with, and currently you can see various youths or young people taking leadership positions, especially in the fields of IT and innovation. When it comes to artificial intelligence, you'll find that 90% of the people who are working on it, they are the young generation who are well equipped with skills, knowledge, and agility to do so. So I believe there is hope that youth can still be the leaders, and they can have hope for a better tomorrow despite the various challenges in life.
Yes. And let's go to our next point. Do the current youth, young Christian youth, has a place in the current political era?
The Christian youth has a place in the current political era, because you find that the values that we learn as Christians, youth, they're the same values that are required for you to make it or to make a difference in the outside world. If you have been brought up with a good background and equipped with the proper knowledge from the early stages of life to the time you're in your mid age, you find that you can make a difference. And we have so many other leaders who are elected who are making a difference outside there because of what they stand for and the values that they have been brought or they believe in. So youth have a place in the current leadership.
Okay. Now understanding that youth are not only leaders of tomorrow, there is hope. And we also understand that the youth, young Christian youth, has a place in the current political era. Now, the reality is there is a lot of things going on in the political area where there is just too much corruption, and leaders forgetting where they came from, and they don't they just give manifestos but they don't implement them. Now, given the current state where I think there is such a conflict of I want to have hope, but the current situation doesn't seem like there is hope.
I think the problem with most of the young people, I will say, is that they lack hope because they want to cut shortcuts. In life, we don't have shortcuts. You have to follow a certain path, and if you jump any stage, you find that you have problems in your life. So I believe for us who are brought in the early generation, I can say like going to Sunday school was a must. Going to madrasa if you are a Muslim was a must. And even the nursery level, you find that most of the things that were taught were actually the traditions and values in the society. So if you can borrow from that, then we'll have youths who are equipped with a proper background to take leadership to another level. And this can only happen if you have or you had that background or good foundation that can change your life. And in future, you can be someone who is dependable by the rest of the people to take the lead.
Yeah. So how do I as a young person start reinforcing that discipline so that I can ensure that I'm living out today the way I'm supposed to, for the sake of tomorrow?
The discipline or the values that I said you learn early in your stage, in the stages of life, are the things that will impact on what you want or the values that you stand in the society. Something like believing in yourself. Whenever someone is confident from the early stages, you find even in school they'll be elected prefects, and when they take such leadership positions, it builds confidence because you find even in the current political era, most of the MPs we have, they were actually leaders, either in CU, in their various organizations, or even in the student leadership within those campuses. And that confidence is what drives one to become who you want to be, being determined and knowing what you want to go for. If I tell you, for example, that I happened to, when I was in Form 3, or my entire life, I was elected a prefect from the early stages in school. Not because that there was any reward, but because I did believe in myself that I can make a change. And I remember when I was in Form 2, the class teacher wanted a class prefect. And all the people who were chosen, they declined the position because during that era, prefects used to experience very hardship conditions. Even in school, some of them even were banned, killed. But I raised my hand and everyone was dismayed. I said I want to be the class prefect. And the class teacher also was very amazed and said, okay, What made you volunteer? I just said I believe in myself and I want to make a difference. One difference that I did make in that class, I told the guys who are always known to be the best noisemakers, latecomers, and all that, I told them, I'll only allow you to be a latecomer, make noise, or do anything you want if you beat me in class. And by beating me, I meant in my studies, in exams. I can tell you, everyone knew that that was a hard task, because every time they saw me reading and they wanted to make noise, they say, we'll not beat that man. And within a very short time, the whole class was silent, and it was even the other class teachers noticed, and they asked me what was the secret. I told them what I did, and they told me, now we have a menace in school of trash everywhere. You're going to be the environment captain so that you can also make the school clean. And I can tell you, I delivered. So sometimes when you believe in yourself, that drive is what makes you achieve what you want.
Yes, that's a very good point. I've heard you say standing your ground and not being afraid to just shine on. And earlier on, you pointed out on the shortcut route. Talk to us more about that, especially when it comes to corruption. I have this friend who was the police were asking him a bribe because of, I think, a minor car thing on the road, and he refused. He opted to go to the prison. And actually, when you were talking about that, you reminded me of him, because he's a young man and he decided, I'm not going to participate in this system. I'll stand my ground.
I think the issue of corruption is something that the society needs to tackle from very early stages. I think most of the people, when you ask them at their primary level, what is corruption? They tell you it's getting rich or getting into big offices and such things. But if corruption was taught back from the nursery school level, where you learn the ethical values in the society, what is good and what is bad, and differentiating what you want or what other people want to be done to them and what you also want to be done to you, you will come to appreciate that even our own traditions discourage such behaviors. And the current problem we are facing with the youth is that they want to make it in life in an easy way, through shortcut means. You want to get rich, you want to drive the best car, you want to own the best house, you want to work the best place, and you believe that the only way you can ride to those things and good things in life is by being corrupt. You can achieve all those things through sheer determination and having integrity as a core value. I will tell you that today in the job market, if you are looking for any other value, we don't just look for knowledge or the papers. We look for skills and even certain values like integrity. Like I will tell you, in my job, the highest values that we value very much is integrity and loyalty. Someone who can tell you that today my alarm did not ring and I overslept without being asked, were you late in your job? You can confess, because you really want someone not to investigate, but you come out clean and say that I was late. By confessing, it shows that this person knows what he's doing. And shortcut for life is a no for me. Follow the stairs, or else you'll fall the same way. And you have seen so many politicians falling the same way because they followed shortcuts.
Yes, what I can hear you say, it's about the process and the discipline to get there. Um, Currently, in most of the countries now, I think in the overseas, they have already, some countries have allowed the use of marijuana. Some countries like South Africa, I think they are also debating on the same, or they are almost to pass the law. The same thing is happening in Kenya, where there is this pressure on social media that the parliament should pass the use of marijuana, and you'll find in most campuses people use drugs. And my point is, why can't the youth or see that the use of drugs is hindering them to be what they are supposed to be, for them to give themselves fully to themselves and to the community around them?
I think the issue of legalization of drugs, from where I work from and also from my own stand, is a big no. But we are in a changing world, and we can see so many legalizations of vices that we did not even tolerate in our traditional cultures. And I will say legalization should not be an issue. Actually, the determination to do the right thing should be the issue. Because you cannot prove to me that since you have DEEP is the insecticide we use to control, or the pesticide we use to control ticks in cattle. Since you have it in your own house and you know it's poison, why don't you take it for breakfast? That's what it means. Because it's within your use. There is no one prohibiting you. Yeah. So saying that legalization will affect the society, I think that will be an individual decision to go that way. Because even cigarettes are legal, but not everyone smokes. Yes. Alcohol is legal, not everyone takes. You have a choice to make. You have your own values to stand with. And I think the current generation or the future generation will have a lot of challenges, because we as parents and also the other mentors, we have left all our children to be taken care by the school and our house managers. Parents rarely impact values on their kids, and even in those schools, the current trend is that the social media is what is taking shape in those. But if a gadget can influence you, which cannot talk to you, why can't I influence you and tell you that this is wrong? Because that gadget will not talk to you and tell you this is wrong. I can talk to you and tell you this is wrong. We have seen people being wasted by the same thing. And if you want to go that way, then you have chosen the wrong way. But you have a choice to make the right decision and live the best way.
Yeah. Now, going to the next point, you've talked of social media, and we'll find there is these campaigns for change. But we just talk, and when the season comes for making the right decisions, we forget all about that. And how do I use my voice in social media or whatever space that I am in, even in the noises that that accompanies social media? How do I make sure that my voice is heard?
I can say social media is the best thing that came in this century, because currently we have seen like the changes that brought, especially in leadership, during Arab uprisings. You saw leaders who have been over 40 years in power, clinging to power, being ousted from their position by the virtue of people raising their opinion through the social media. So it brought positive changes. But if misused, It can also have a lot of negative changes. You can see the current trend where we have a lot of hate speech and hate messages being sent through the same media. So I always say, it's just like a knife. When you have it in your own house, it has its own purpose. But when you decide to use it in the wrong way, it can also cause harm. So social media, and the law is very clear, has its positive side and should only be applied on the positive side. Youths have access to this social media. Use it to the best advantage, to make an income, to make a living, to make a positive change in the society by advocating for the best values, what you stand for, other than and shun the negative sides of the social media. That is my advice, what I can say.
Yeah. And now, finally, what can be done by those who are ahead of us and now the youth to make sure that there is we are heading in the right direction, that there is development in our society, in our community, in our country?
I will say what we can do to merge the gap between the old generation and the youth is to have a mixture or a combination of these efforts. The old generations are experienced, they have learned the hard way of life, and they know the setbacks in life. They also have the skills and due to experience. The youths have the energy, they have the advantage of the social media, and if the two groups can work together, where we have a society which is mixed up in any organization, we have a manager who is young and a manager who is old. When they blend, they'll combine experience, skills, and energy. And that is what is required to drive any economy or any organization to the top. If they work together, we have continuity. That by the time this old man retires, the youth have earned enough experience and skills and they can take over.
Yes, and how do I, as a young person, look at? Sometimes we look at those who are ahead of us and feel like, in some sort of way, they have failed us in certain areas. How do I look at them and still give them a chance to talk to me and also to let my voice to allow them to hear me as well?
I said as a young person, we used to sit around our grandmother or grandfather and they will give us various stories. At the end of each and every story, it will have a moral lesson. And that moral lesson was what was very important in the whole story. Nowadays, the young people will hardly even sit with their parents, even to discuss an issue and just want to know. If I ask you, how was your day? You just say, okay. And that's a statement. We cannot answer such a statement with just the word, okay. You can say, I went to school, my day was like this. At least explain something. Let's have that interaction. Without opening up, you will not get the assistance. I'll never know that you have a problem unless you open up to me and tell me, here and here, I'm undergoing this. I'll never know that you slept hungry unless you tell me, because I'll assume when we meet and you're smiling, everyone is okay.
Yeah.
Since I took breakfast, I'll believe that everyone took breakfast. But that's not the condition. I can only know that by you speaking up, and that speaking up comes after interaction. There's some degree that you have to break the ice so that we can talk. And that's why when we advocate, even after church, just meet and greet the people outside, because someone might be having something which he wants to share, but he was not able to raise it to someone else. But when you break the ice and tell someone, oh, how have you been? He tells you, I'm okay, though I've been undergoing this. And sometimes you just find solutions from that. I'll confess that last week on Saturday, I have another farm here in Lukenya where I was just doing my normal routine. Someone knocked at the gate, and I wondered, who is this knocking at the gate, because we don't allow strangers there. I found a woman there and asked her, how can I assist you? She told me that I have been seeing people coming to this compound, and I felt something telling me inside me that you people can help me find a job. Ask the woman, why here? Which job do you want? Because nowadays it's very hard to trust people when someone just knock at your gate. The woman refused to go and told us, no. Kindly, even if you don't have any job right now, assist me around to get a job. Lucky enough, the compound was a bit dirty, and I asked her, can you do the cleaning and maintaining the compound a bit, and then I'll pay you something, you can go and buy your kids some food. She said, yes, I'll do it. She came, she did the job very well, and even when she was doing it, she told us that the children had not eaten. I gave her some money, and just before she left, a good friend of mine came who happens to be a HR somewhere, and he asked me, oh, who is this? I told her the whole story, that the woman has just come. I gave her some cost because she said she was hungry and she wanted something to feed her children, and she also looking for a job. The HR said that, give me your contacts, I'll see if I can do anything. I can tell you, as of Thursday, as we speak, the woman has been permanently employed. She's currently working at Devki. And I think that was one of my happiest moments, because it was just a miracle, someone knocking at the gate and finding a job. Yet there are so many people who always tell me, look for me a job, find for me a job. I've not been able to fix them. But this one came, it was fixed within a week, and I can tell you, she called me and confirmed that I'm working, permanently employed, and I'm happy. Yeah. So when you speak up, you'll get assistance. Okay. When you don't speak up, that's where young people go wrong.
Okay. Any last words?
My last words will be to the young generation. There are values that we value very much in the society: honesty, integrity, hardworking, and determination. When you combine those values with what we call tact, tact is the ability to correct someone in a polite way, that if I see you doing wrong, I don't condemn you. I come and sit down with you and explain to you that whatever you are doing might be pleasing to you, or even the way you dress might be pleasing to you, but might be offending to someone else. And when you explain that thing to someone in a polite way, he or she understands you have made a change or a difference in someone's life. If those values, and the youth will consider all those values that we have mentioned, there is a lot of space in the current market for them. Especially, it's good to go to university, get your degrees, get the best knowledge, but don't fear to face challenges. Don't fear to start. Be a risk taker, and when you face the life the way it is, you'll find you make it. The current job market demands that the skills are much important than knowledge. You can have a lot of papers, but when it comes to working and the way you interact with people becomes a very big challenge. There is also a very good field that is very much unexploited. That's the field that we call it Juakali sector. The Juakali sector does not mean only the Juakali who are molding items and sufurias in the market and those boxes. We have the furnitures, the mechanics, the artisans. Those are among the best paying jobs in the current job market. And if youth can shun the current thinking of, I just want a good job, to be given a good office, a good suit and a tie, and rotate in a chair. Those people don't earn any money. Money is where the dirt is. Go down that vehicle, I'll tell you, I give mechanics almost 30,000 every month. And they spend less than 10 minutes within that vehicle. If you can count that 30,000 by the number of customers those mechanic fix, some of them earn better than MPs. The furnitures we buy in our houses, the beds, the cheapest bed you'll get is almost 20,000. Those people spend less than 5,000 to make those items. So money is where people think it is not. And the youth have to shun that thinking of that I want to work in a smart organization. Think outside the box, be innovative, take advantage of technology, and you'll make it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Canon George, for coming into Youth Split. You've really inspired, and I feel educated as well being here. And I hope that you are as well. And we have come to the end of today's show. Until next Friday, bye.